Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. We are live streaming on YouTube, so anything you say is broadcast to the world at large. We're going to start our service in 1 minute.
Hi, everybody. Lisa and Bench. Glad you're here.
I see Karen and
Hey, Steve. Hey, guys.
Okay.
Good.
We're having a bar mitzvah now.
We're doing a wave.
We're going to mute ourselves.
Richard, Stephen is there in person.
Here.
I didn't think of that.
Jen is here.
Hey, Arlene.
No, not yet.
We're all set whenever you are.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us for services this morning. We are also live streaming on our YouTube channel, YouTube/Beth Chaim. And we are so delighted to have you all here as Sam Lasky joins the ranks of B'nai Mitzvah. I've muted all participants. Rabbi Blum may ask you at various points in the service to unmute yourselves. You have the ability to do that. If there are any tech issues, please just reach out to me in the chat. I'm Ann Berman Waldorf. And we will now begin our service.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Camille Bloomberg, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of Congregation Beth Chaim, it is an honor to welcome you by Zoom this morning to celebrate with the Lasky family as Sam is called to the Torah. We want to maintain a warm and welcoming feeling for these services and create a sacred virtual space that will inspire prayer. Please help us by staying muted unless the clergy invites you to unmute and participate. You are welcome, however, to write messages of congratulations and encouragement in the chat box. And while we will not be able to hear one another, we would love for you to sing with us. All the liturgy will be displayed on the screen to help you follow along. If you have any trouble with the technology, as Ann said, please connect with Ann Berman Waldorf, and she will be happy to assist you. Thank you for joining us in prayer and celebrating this morning. Congratulations, Lasky family.
אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללו חסנה. אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללו חסנה. אשרי, אשרי, אשרי יושבי ביתך. אשרי, אשרי, אשרי יושבי ביתך. Happy are those who dwell in your house, they will sing your praises forever. Happy are those who dwell in your house, they will sing your praises forever. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yehalelu chasena. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, od yehalelu chasena.
Good morning and Shabbat Shalom. My name is Adina Blum, and I'm the Rabbi of Congregation Beth Chaim. On behalf of myself, Cantor Stewart Binder, and our Director of Lifelong Learning, Ann Berman Waldorf, I want to welcome you to our sacred space this morning. If you need tech support, you can contact Ann Berman Waldorf. And also, we're asking for your forgiveness this morning. It seems we're having trouble with our Zoom account. If we get any more folks who want to join us, we're going to send you to our live stream. So I just put the link in the chat box. Tell your friends and family if they can't get into the Zoom room, they can watch the entire service at that live stream link on YouTube. And we're so sorry that we're having some challenges letting more than 100 logins this morning. It really is a testament to Sam and his family and how many people love and care about him and want to celebrate with him this morning. We're now going to hear from Eric and Joanne some words of blessing on behalf of their son. We'll just need you to unmute yourselves.
Say, unmute myself.
Yeah.
Good. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you for joining us today from near and far. Joy and I are truly humbled that all of you have chosen to log on and join us in this special day. It's great to hear there's more than 100. I want to start by thanking Rabbi Blum, Cantor Binder, and Berman Waldorf for making this day possible, both in preparing Sam for his bar mitzvah and in making this day possible through the wonders of modern technology. While COVID-19 has certainly prevented us from being together in the same room celebrating Sam, we are thankful that Beth Chaim has embraced Zoom and allowed us to celebrate Sam's bar mitzvah in this new and unique way. Sam, look at me. Mom and I are so proud of you and all of you done to diligently prepare for your bar mitzvah today. Your ability to embrace the circumstances of this global pandemic and make it your own is truly inspiring to us and to your whole family. Now, you know how important the concept of family is to me and Mom, and how central it is to our Jewish identity. I want you to pause for a moment, and you already saw it, but take a look at all of your grandparents out there and everyone else on Zoom. We're blessed with an amazing group of friends who have become family and an amazing family. This moment makes me think of your Zadie Jerry, your great-grandfather. He always told us that his wealth was his family and that he was a rich man. As I look around, I think he was onto something. Now, Sam, speaking of your Zadie Jerry, it means the world to your mother and me that you chose to become a bar mitzvah wearing his talis. As you've heard, Zadie Jerry volunteered much of his time for Jewish and other civic organizations. He was a role model for me and for Mom, and we're so proud to watch you become a bar mitzvah wearing his talis and following his footsteps. And I'm even having a little tribute to him. I'm wearing his cufflinks actually today. So while this pandemic has certainly changed many things, it's also provided us with some very unique opportunities. Because we're not able to celebrate Sam's bar mitzvah in the synagogue, the situation has allowed our family to set up a sanctuary in our own home. Now, no sanctuary would be complete without a Torah. Sam, we are incredibly lucky to have with us in our house today the Holocaust Torah that both your brothers read from at their bar mitzvahs. This Torah was rescued from a synagogue in Europe during the Holocaust, and Beth Chaim is now the caretaker of this piece of history. As you know, Sam, the Holocaust plays a significant role in the history of our family, having lost so many relatives just because they were Jewish. Luckily, your great-grandfather Max was able to secure his release from Buchenwald and ultimately made his way to the U.S. As you read from this Torah today, Sam, you will follow in the footsteps of your brothers Max and Jake by honoring your great-grandfather Max, as well as all of your other great-grandfathers, Erwin, Jerry, Marvin, and Iz, all who served during World War II. You also bring a voice to all those who perished during the Holocaust, including so many of our ancestors. I cannot tell you how much it will mean for Mom and me to watch you read from this Torah, and what an honor it is for our family to have this Torah in our home for just this brief visit. During your brother's bar mitzvahs, Sam, I had the opportunity to talk to them about the family members for whom they are named. Well, Sam, your name just doesn't come from a family member because we were really lucky that we had no family members left to name for. So instead, your name has a very special meaning for us. You see, Mom believes very strongly that Jewish families should have at least 3 children, one to replace each parent and one to perpetuate the Jewish population. Mom made it very clear to me after Max and Jake were born that our family would have 3 children. Unfortunately, we weren't sure that was going to be possible at some time because Mom had a miscarriage and wasn't really going well. But Mom and I continued to pray for you, Sam. So when you were born, it was really important for us to have a really strong and appropriate name. We decided on Samuel because the Hebrew translation is God has heard. From the day you were born, Sam, I've been impressed with your ability to make yourself heard. And that is no easy task, being the youngest of 3 brothers. So Sam, my prayer for you on this day of your bar mitzvah is that you'll always continue to make sure that your voice is heard and you'll continue to use your voice for good. In the Jewish tradition, the separation between prayer and action is slight. As Rabbi Wisnia used to teach us, prayers don't change things, prayers change people, and people change things. So Sam, prayer is not just the communication we have with God, it's also the work we do to apply our Jewish values in the everyday world. There's a Jewish folktale about a rabbi and a soap maker who go for a walk together that is very appropriate for the world we live in today. The soap maker said to the rabbi, "What good is Judaism? After thousands of years of teaching about goodness, truth, justice, and peace, After all the study of Torah and all the fine ideals of the prophets, look at all the trouble and misery in the world. If Judaism is so wonderful and true, why should all this be so? The rabbi said nothing. They continued walking until the rabbi noticed a child playing in the gutter. The child was filthy with soot and grime. Look at that child, said the rabbi. You say that soap makes people clean, but see the dirt on that youngster? What good is soap? With all the soap in the world, that child is still filthy. I wonder if soap is of any use at all. The soap maker protested and said, but Rabbi, soap cannot do any good unless it is used. Aha, said the rabbi. So it is with Judaism. It is not effective unless it is applied in your daily life and used. Well, our country is currently at a strange crossroads where there seems to be a question as to whether we should be divided or united. It's up to you, Sam, to make sure that you continue to use your Jewish values every day to make sure unity always beats division. Can you continue to speak up for those less fortunate than you or for those who do not have a voice? Continue to support those in need through tzedakah and tikkun olam. Continue to support social justice efforts. Continue to value everyone for who they are and what they bring to the table, not what they look like or how they identify. And continue to live a life filled with Jewish values, customs, and traditions. So, Sam, on this day of your bar mitzvah, I challenge you to do one thing each and every day to bring your Jewish value to the world, whether it's helping someone in need, being an upstander, or just putting a smile on someone's face. As Ruth Bader Ginsburg taught us, real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time. Sam, Mom and I could not be any more proud of you as we stand with you today, as you take your first step as a Jewish adult by coming a bar mitzvah. Sam, we love you and we are so proud of you. Congratulations and Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
All right, Sam, your mother's now going to put your talit on you, and then you'll recite in the blessing for the wearing of these sacred fringes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hitatef v'tzitzit.
Amen. And because we are so grateful for having reached this special time and occasion, please lead us in Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh.
Amen.
Amen. Hugs and kisses, and then you'll say to your parents, see you later.
Who does not hunger for friendship, understanding, warmth, and love? Hazak, Hazak, Benit Hazeh. Let us lend strength to one another and pray for the welfare of this community. I enter this sacred space to voice the longings of my heart in prayer. In sacred company, I offer my love to the Holy One. I devote myself this morning in psalm and song, study and prayer. May my heart be lifted. May my thoughts be may my thoughts be deepened, and may my soul like the eagle soar.
It is now my honor to invite Great Aunt and Uncle Michelle and Stephen Friedman for a special reading. We'll just need you to unmute yourselves, and then we'll looking forward to hearing from you.
It's going to be me. Don't let me fall as a stone falls upon the hard ground, and don't let my hands become dry as the twigs of a tree. When the wind beats down the last leaves, and when the storm rises dust from the earth with anger and howling, don't let me fall. I have asked for so much, but as a blade of your grass in a distant walled field, let drops as a seed in the laps of the earth and dies away. Sow in me your living breath as you sow a seed in the earth. Baruch atah Adonai rofei kol bazar umafeli et la sa'ot.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and I love your hat.
Thank you very much.
We'll continue with Sam.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asai aser Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher Natan lasef vi nachlev hin ben yom ben laila.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamichin mitzadei gaver.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mavi sharumi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layaef koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'enai udumam me'afapai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani b'tzelem Elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani ben horin.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishan b'mitzvotav v'tivanu lasok b'divrei Torah.
Amen. Now we invite up one of Sam's grandmothers, Sue Seidman.
So glad to be here. I'm so proud of you. This reading is from Maimonides. There are 8 degrees in giving of tzedakah, each one higher than the one before. To give grudgingly, reluctantly, or with regret. To give less than one should, but with grace. To give what one should, but only after being asked. To give before one is asked. To give without knowing who will receive it, although the recipient knows the identity of the giver. To give without making known one's identity. To give so that neither giver nor receiver knows the identity of the other. To help another to become self-supporting by means of a gift, a loan, or by finding employment for the one in need. Mazel tov.
Thank you, Sue. Sam will now lead us in Chatzi Kaddish.
Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah b'ma divrach yirotev yamich malhutei v'hayehon uvyomehon uvhayedehol beit Yisrael bagala uvizman kariv beru amen yehi shemei rabbah mevora le'olam ulamei amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei Yitadar v'yitale v'yitala shmei kudusha abrihu lamin hol berhata v'shirata tush behata v'nehemata da'amiran b'ama v'imru amen.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We now invite up Sam's brother, Jake, to share in a reading.
In the beginning, even then, a new light was sown for the righteous, a promise that your light would become the catalyst first for order, and then for hope. Author of language and light, help us to use words as you have, to cast light into dark waters and draw out justice and truth.
Thank you, Jake. Now we call up one of Sam's grandfathers, Steve Seidman.
How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anuchi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shokbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam layod al yadecha Hayula totafot bein eineha, uktartam leo, uktartam almai behayula totafot bein eineha, uktartam amizot beiteha uvishareha, lemon tiskeru ve'atitem et kol mitzvotai, item kidoshim lelohehem, ani Adonai Elohem, asher hotzeiti ethem, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, leot lehem, le'lohim, ani Adonai Elohehem.
We now invite up Sam's brother, Max, for a reading.
The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart. The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God, Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילתו ספלת, תהילתו ספלת. שירה חדשה, שיפטו גאולים, לשמך שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו והמרו. Yisrael Tzor Yisrael Kuma Bezrat Yisrael Ufdech Yomecha Yehuda v'Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai Kal Yisrael. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Zoher Hashtei Avot V'Imahot, Mevi Geulah Lifnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham V'Ezlat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mehayeh HaKol HaTorah V'Shia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Mori HaGashem, Mehalkel Chaim Behesed, Mehayeh HaKol Be'Rahamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Mihamo Habal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Hamid, Umachaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mehaye hakol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדור תמברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל et hashabat, lasot et hashabat, ledortam berit olam, ben yuvain, b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, leolam, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat, lasot et hashabat, ledortam berit olam, kishishet yamim, Asarnai et hashemayim et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat ledortam berit olam uvyom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat ledortam berit olam.
It is now my honor to invite up another of Sam's grandmothers, Andrea Mennick, for a reading.
We are a people, as thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from Evelyn Lasky.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our Torah, study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Here's my hope.
Thank you.
שים שלום, שים שלום טובה וברכה, שים שלום טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך, ברכנו יוצרנו כולנו כאחד באור פניך, שים שלום טובה וברכה, שים שלום טובה וברכה, כי באור פניך נתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, תורת חיים ואהבת חסד, וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. שים שלום טובה וברכה, שים שלום טובה וברכה, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. שים שלום טובה וברכה, שים שלום טובה וברכה.
We now take a few moments for silent prayer as we offer all of our hopes and wishes and blessings to Sam and also offer up the prayers of our own hearts.
רצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך Adonai Tsuri, Adonai Tsuri, Begoali, Begoali. We now turn to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the Torah reading service.
May my life be one link in a chain of goodness. As I say the prayers of my ancestors, help me to recall their devotion and faithfulness, their joy and suffering, which are in every word. Holiness is my heritage. May I be worthy of it. May our tradition live in me and pass from me to generations I shall never know. Enriched by the truth that I have found, and the goodness and the good deeds I have done. So may I fulfill my task on earth and receive my blessing. And when the service ends and the prayers have ceased, help me to bring their spirit into the world in which I live. May I love God all above and my neighbor as myself, and be a living witness to the truth that that never changes. En kamoha ba'Elohim Adonai ben kemaseha malhuteha malhut kol olamim umimshateha behodor vador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch leolam va'ed Adonai os Lamo ite Adonai Yevarech et amo b'shalom. Avharahamim Hetiva birtzon ha etzion. Tivane homot Yerushalayim. Tivane homot Yerushalayim. Ki beha levad batachnu. Melech el ram v'nitza, Adon olamim.
Now, Sam, we invite all of your grandparents to join you, Andrea Mednick, Susan and Stephen Seidman, Evelyn and Arnold Lasky, to offer their own prayers and blessings for you.
So, into our hands, O God, you have given the gift of Torah, a gift to be held high by grandparents, parents, and children, and taught by one generation to the next. Throughout our history, our people have remained unwavering in loyalty to the Torah, carrying it in our arms so that our children might not be deprived of their birthright.
And now we pray that you, Sam, may always be worthy of this inheritance. Take its teachings into your heart, and in turn pass it on to your children and those who come after you. May you be a devoted Jew, searching for wisdom and truth, working for justice and peace. Then you will be among those who strive to bring closer the day when God shall be one and God's children shall be one.
May the God of our people, the God of all humankind, bless and keep you. May the one who has always been our guide inspire you to bring honor to our family and to the house of Israel.
Thank you all. We'll now invite your parents, Joanne and Eric, to join in the 3 generations so that you can pass the Torah from one to the next. Sam, you're about to take into your arms an incredible legacy of the Jewish people. This is the same Torah that we have been passing down from grandparent to child for thousands of years. And so I know that you will take this responsibility seriously and give it much honor.
Ki mitzion teitze Torah, ki mitzion teitze Torah, udevar Adonai Merushalayim, su sheharim rashechem usu pitche olam, v'yavo melech hakavod, mihu ze melech hakavod, Adonai Tzvaot, umelech hakavod, Selah.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Lamo Yisrael Bikdushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, Uniromema Shemo Yachdav.
You may now undress the Torah scroll.
Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevora v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'ahod ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz ki chol b'shamayim uvaretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'hamitnaseh lechol lerosh.
This week's Torah portion is Parashat Bereshit, the very first in the Torah, the beginning of the book of Genesis, as we just celebrated Simchat Torah only a few days ago, and now we have returned to the very beginning of our sacred scroll. There's so much chocked into this Torah portion alone: the creation of the universe, the first human beings, Adam and Eve, and their challenges in the Garden of Eden, and then their children too. But that's all I'm going to say about that, as Sam is going to be teaching us about Cain and Abel. Sam, are you ready for your Torah portion?
Yes.
Beautiful. Nala Amod, Meir ben Yamin v'Yaakov Moshe mi Beit Chuna v'Yesitza mina la'aliyah harishona. For our first aliyah to the Torah, we invite up Sam's brothers Max and Jake Lasky.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'ha'adam yada et Hava ishto v'tahar v'teled et Kain v'tomer peneti ish et Adonai v'tosef laledet et Ahiv et Havel v'yihevel ro'et son v'Kain haya oved Adama v'yahi miket yamim v'ave Kain mipri hadama min haladonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natan v'tohinu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Sam, you can congratulate your brothers on a job well done. And they're now going to stand to your left. So stay up there, Jake. Very nice. Okay, great. Nala amod chuna yesisa mina la aliyah hashniya. For our second aliyah to the Torah, we invite Joanne and Eric Lasky.
Here.
Baruch hu Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Behevo hevi gam hu ibehorot sono umehevehen vayisha Adonai ehevel ve'el min hato ve'el kayin ve'el min hato lo sha vayihar lekayin meod vayipilu panav vayomer Adonai. Ve'el kayin ve'el min hato lo sha vayihar lekayin meod vayipilu panav vayomer Adonai el kayin lama haralach ve'lama naflu faneha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Sam, you congratulate your parents on a job well done, and you can say see you later to your brothers. Oh, so we're going to just pause right here for our Misha Berach. So we'll take you can get a little bit of a breather in the middle of the Torah service as our thoughts and prayers turn to all those in our lives in need of healing, whether that be healing of the body, healing of the heart, healing of the mind, or healing of the soul. We invite everyone who is with us today to type any names in the chat box who could use this blessing for healing as Cantor Binder leads us in the words of blessing.
Berach Avotenu Mikol habracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Yisheberach imotenu b'kol habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Nala Amod Bar HaMitzvah Tevye Moshe Mibeit Chuna V'Yasisa Mina LaAliyah HaShlishit. For our third and final Aliyah to the Torah this morning, we invite our Bar Mitzvah, Samuel Ross Lasky.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Hello im teitiv ze'et ve'im lo teitiv la petach hata provetz ve'leha teshukato ve'ata tim shobo vayomer kayin el hevel ahiv vayahi v'yotam basadeh vayakom kayin el hevel ahiv vayhargehu Vayomer Adonai El Kain, Hevel Ahiha, Vayomer, Lo Yadati, Hashomer Ahi, Anohi. Baruch atah Adonai. Wait, no. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. We now invite your brothers back up as we are going to be lifting, dressing, and holding the Torah scroll.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לה 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 לה. יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
We'll now turn to your Haftarah portion from the Book of Prophets, and the voice that we'll be hearing this morning is the prophet Isaiah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar v'im tovim v'ratzah v'direhem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Aboher Batorah Moshe Avdo Yisrael Amo V'nviei ha'emet B'tzedek. Ko Amar Ha'el Adonai Borei Hashemayim Notehem Roka Ha'artz B'tzetzeha Notein Neshama Le'am Aleha Veruach L'holim Ba Ani Adonai Keratiha Be'eretz Be'achzik Be'adeha Be'tzorha Bentenha Livrit leor goyim, liv koach einayim, irot, lahotzi mimasker, asir, ibet kele, yosh vechoshe. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zor kol amim, tzadik b'chol hadarot, ha'al haneman, ha'omer rotzei, hamdaver kayem, Jehodavarach, emet b'tzedek, al haTorah, ve'al hamadah, ve'al hanvi'im, ve'al yom hashavat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdushav linucha, lahavod utifaret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modin lach, umvarchim otach, yitbarach shimcha, befi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Yasher Koach, fabulous job. We'll now return the Torah back to her resting place.
Etz Chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomecheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu kekedem.
We'll now learn about this week's Torah portion from Sam.
The name of the Torah portion I chanted is Bereshit, found in the book of Genesis. The section of the Torah portion that I chanted is about two brothers, Cain, who was a farmer, and Abel, who was a shepherd. One day, Cain brought an offering to the Eternal One, including some of his harvest, and Abel did the same as Cain, but his offering included the finest, fattest parts of the lamb from his flock. God accepted Abel's offering, but did not accept Cain's offering. Cain then, jealously filled with rage due to his brother's offering being accepted by God, but not his, and he turned on his brother and killed him in cold blood. Soon after, God questioned Cain as to where his brother was, and Cain responded by saying, "How should I know? Am I my brother's keeper?" The Eternal One punished Cain for his brother's murder by making his land unfertile. As one of three brothers and a person living through this historic time, I personally know the responsibility put upon you to always take care of one another. My Torah portion can teach everyone that a very important thing in life is to care for everyone else no matter what. There is never an excuse for not helping others. For instance, it is a big responsibility to have two brothers to look out for. Living through this pandemic also shows the obligation brought upon you of taking care of the people in your community. For example, wearing masks, social distancing, and having online events like this can prevent the spread of the coronavirus. The Talmud teaches all of Israel is responsible for each other. This means that it is your responsibility to help people in need wherever you are, just as it was Cain's responsibility to take care of his brother, even though they had their differences. With that being said, this Torah portion proves that you are not just responsible for taking care of yourself, but each of us is also our brother's keeper. We are responsible and obligated to love our neighbor as ourselves and take care of everyone else who lives in this world with us. To me, becoming a bar mitzvah means that I have to both act more maturely and take on more responsibilities. An example of how I will do this is wearing a tallis. Today, I become a bar mitzvah on the tallis of my great-grandfather, Jerome Saban. I don't remember much about my Zadie Jerry, but what I do remember is that he always loved me no matter what. For this reason and many more, I am proud to wear this tallis and become a bar mitzvah in it. I am becoming a Jewish adult that has a strong Jewish education, and I will take my Jewish education to new levels. As I get older, some steps on my Jewish journey will be to grow up and eventually have a Jewish family and to give my future children a good Jewish education like the one I received. In the meantime, I will continue to celebrate Jewish holidays, and I look forward to learning with the Jewish Community Youth Foundation, or JCYF. JCYF is a youth philanthropy group that teaches teens the true meaning of tzedakah. I will research nonprofit organizations, learn about charitable giving, and I will take the responsibility of helping those in need. One way I have already done this is through my mitzvah project, which I have been working on in support of the Ronald McDonald House over this past year. I started with the Pop Tab drive at my school last year, where I got the student council to create a contest for everyone to bring in as many Pop Tabs as they could, and the team with the most Pop Tabs at the end of the contest won. With the help of my school, I was able to donate thousands of Pop Tabs to the Ronald McDonald House, which they can then recycle to raise money for the house. To complete my project during these strange times, I organized a drive for items needed by the Ronald McDonald House as a result of the pandemic. Thanks to many of your generous donations, I've collected more than $1,200 in gift cards to help feed the families staying in the houses and 850 3-ply surgical masks for the families. The Ronald McDonald House is a place where a home away from home is provided to the families of children in the hospital for an extended period of time. The Ronald McDonald House is special to me because I've been in the hospital at times and I wanted my family to be there with me. Also, because my brother has kidney disease where he could possibly be in the hospital, I would want to be nearby so that I could be with him. That is why I chose to support the Ronald McDonald House for my mitzvah project. Now, I would like to thank my mom and dad for both preparing me for this day and making this amazing day possible. It means a lot to me that this was able to happen and that you are here to support me. I would also like to thank my religious school teachers for helping to prepare me for this day. Thank you, Rabbi Blum, Cantor Beiner, and Ann Berman Waldorf for teaching me my prayers at B'nai Mitzvah tutoring and being there along the way for guidance and support. Also, thank you to the congregation for their very generous gifts. I would like to thank my brothers, Max and Jake, for teaching me how to be a better Jew and person, and for always supporting me no matter what. Last but not least, thank you to all my friends and family for joining me in becoming a bar mitzvah. Although I wish you could be with me in person, I'm still grateful that everyone is here, that everyone's being with me on Zoom.
now we invite Camille Bloomberg back to the screen to present the gift to you. If you could go grab that and show us so we can see the beautiful gift that you've received from Congregation Beth Chaim.
1 second, sorry.
All good. Camille, you can start and he'll get it up on the screen shortly.
Okay. Sam, it is my privilege to present to you this gift from the Sisterhood, Men's Club, and Board of Directors of Congregation Beth Chaim. It is an artist's rendering of your Torah portion. I hope this gift captures the beauty and complexity of our sacred teaching, and that you will remember the significance of this day whenever you view it. We have all been honored to have you lead our congregation in worship this morning. Becoming a B'nai Mitzvah is an important step on your journey to Jewish adulthood. We look forward to celebrating with you again at the end of 10th grade when you are confirmed. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome to put the gift down and take a deep breath because you did it. And you did it with flying colors. I would be remiss if I didn't let everyone here know how much Sam has gone above and beyond in his preparations for today. He did everything on the to-do list and then some, and all of it was based on his own motivation and initiative. He wanted to do more. He wanted to show all of you the incredible learning that he has done. So I can, with full heart, say how incredibly proud Congregation Beth Chaim is of you today, Sam. I can only imagine how proud your family and friends are also of you, but I hope most of all that you are proud of the work that you have done and everything that you have accomplished. Some things I've noticed about you, that you seem quiet at first, but you are kind and you have an incredible voice that I'm so glad we all got to hear today. You are both a dedicated student and a dedicated brother and a dedicated member of your family and your community. I never once heard you complain, so whatever happened at home stays at home, but you've always come to the process of becoming B'nai Mitzvah with a full heart. And you mentioned how now that you're a Jewish adult, you're going to act more maturely. I'm not entirely sure what that means, as I've only seen you to be a mature young man so far. So may you continue in that vein going forward. It really is amazing when the randomly selected Torah portion that's assigned to you really matches who you are and what you care about. That you just so happen, the youngest of 3 brothers, to get the Torah portion about the very first 2 brothers. And you so aptly learned an important lesson from their story about how not to behave, and instead how we actually should treat not only our brothers, but everyone in our lives. And while you are the last Lasky brother to become B'nai Mitzvah, my prayer for you is that you are not the last Lasky to do so, and that you're going to take all that you've learned and this tradition that you've gleaned and not only build on it for yourself, but also to share it with everyone who comes next, everyone who comes after you, your future students, and God willing, maybe even your future children. Your father shared with you the Hebrew meaning of your Hebrew name, Shmuel, or the name that they gave you, your parents gave you, Samuel, Shmuel, God has heard. But I think we really need to talk about who Samuel in the Bible was. He was a prophet of Israel. He was a leader of the people, and he helped the ancient Israelites to anoint their very first king, their very first ruler. And he was a very important voice in ancient Israel as he tried to guide the children of Israel to a right path. So I hope that you will uphold that legacy of your namesake, to be a leader in your community and among your people, and to always remind us what the right way is to behave and how we should move forward. So now it is my honor to invite Cantor Beiner to join me in sharing a very ancient blessing with you, the same blessing we've passed down from generation to generation, the same blessing that we've been able to bestow upon your brothers that we now share with you today.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'asem lecha shalom.
May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find the greatest gift of all, the gift of peace.
Amen. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, Yehelanu, 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 Lecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael.
That just made my day. All right, you may need one more breath before we continue with our prayer service, but we'll now shift gears to Aleinu and be sure, actually, before we shift gears to Aleinu, we're gonna let your family and friends unmute themselves and shower you with Mazel Tov. Let's do that.
Mazel tov!
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov! Mazel tov!
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Yay, Sam.
Hey, Eileen. Mazel tov.
And Lisa. Mazel
Sam, you were great. Oh,
Amy, we're so proud of you.
Mazel tov, Sam.
Thank you.
Mazel tov from all of us. Our service continues with the Aleinu.
Oh, we just need you to unmute yourself, Sam.
Muted. There you go. Good.
Okay. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula lotzer v'reshit shelo asani gigurye haratzot velo samanu kmishprechot hadama shelo sam helkinu kaem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei avrahim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We now invite up Arnold Lasky, Sam's grandfather, to return for an English reading.
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember.
We will now join you in the reading of Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah Ve'amad yivarach kiroteh ve'amich malhuteh V'hayachon u'vyomahon u'chaye doho beit Yisrael V'agala u'vizman kari ve'emru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei amayach Yiparach v'yishtabah v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shemei dikudusha brichu Le'olam min chol birhata v'shirata, tushbehata v'nehemata, da'amiran be'ama v'emru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'hayim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'emru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu yasei shalom, aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'emru amen.
Zichronam livracha, may the memory of all those we've lost be a blessing for us. And now, Sam, I invite Jake and Max and Joanne and Eric to join you yet again, your parents and your brothers, as we express our joy and then reinforce the importance of sustenance in all that we do with kiddush and motzi. And we'll go get that fruit of the vine and that challah now.
Sorry.
All good.
Not like we practiced or anything.
Is that enough?
No.
Alkein Barach Adonai et Yom HaShabbat Vayikar Shehu Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Pri HaGafen.
Amen and l'chaim. Did you sneak wine in there?
We provided, yes.
Oh,
Good
good.
stuff. Manischewitz.
That was a Manischewitz face.
No, it's not.
All right, Sam, you can lift up that challah, and when you're ready, bless.
The whole challah?
Yeah, hold the challah.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Hamotzi Lehem Min Haaretz.
Amen.
All right, you can all have a nosh while Cantor sings our closing song. By popular demand, we have Adon Olam.
Adon Olam asher malach beterem lo yitzir nivra letnasa b'cherzo kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei tichlot hakol V'vado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yiyeh v'tifara ve'hu echad ve'in sheni להמשיל לו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא וידו אפקיד רוחי בית אישן והעירה ועם רוחי גבייתי אדוני לי ולא יירא.
And may you always go from strength to strength and know that your community is behind you. Mazel tov and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Mazel tov.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Mazel tov.
Service. Thank you, Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi.
What do I hit to get it on mute?
Grandparents.
Mazel tov, Laskis.
Thank
Mazel
you
tov.
all.
Shabbat shalom.
Everyone.
Mazel tov, Susan.
Mazel
and
tov.
Steve.
Mazel tov.